Good morning, Qorry. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Farah?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for joining this assessment process for this unit. Please, if you have any question, feel free to ask me, and we'll just gonna get through this slowly about the process of this assessment. I'm gonna explain to you. So there will be like three part of this unit, which I have to decide whether it's competent or not to guarantee that you complete this unit or not. And the first one, as you see, it is the questioning about your job regarding this writing simple documents, and the second one is product which you have to submit it. I believe there is like three for each of the completion that you have to submit, and the last one is my observation, which is kind of like the combination of the first instrument and the second one. So all of these has to come as satisfactory. And if you have any like you want to appeal, if like there is anything you think is not detailed or anything that you can improve, feel free to send your email to our support team, and we'll definitely gonna you know try to deal with this. But yeah, so far that's all. And do you have any reasonable adjustment that you want me to know?
No.
Okay, no worries. So I will get through the first instrument about the step by step and what is this about. So the unit is BSB WRT 311 writing simple documents, which is RPO. Um, the candidates are typically employed and working in roles where they are required to write simple documents as part of their day-to-day duties. Um, the purpose of this assessment, which is for people who are currently working like you and feel that you can meet the requirements for the unit, the relevant assessment condition, including like resources in documents, organizational policies and procedures, and examples of documents to review. Um, on this unit, I have to satisfy the requirement in applicable to understand that you are compliant with this unit. So I will arrange a time to do the interview questions where you will answer the question and showing the knowledge evidence. During this interview, I will discuss specific performance items which you must provide some form of evidence, which is this is gonna be on the product. Um, After this interview, you will provide these products to me, and on completion of both of the interview and the RPR process, I can complete the observation of key foundation skills. So, do you have any questions so far, Qorry?
Oh, no. So far, so clear, Farah.
Thank you. So, should we start the interview question?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, please tell me about the type of documents you create in your job. What are they and who are they for?
Oh, sure. So, as a finance manager, I create various documentations, including financial reports, budget forecasts, expense analysis, and also audit reports. These documents are primarily for internal stakeholders such as senior management, department heads, and also the accounting team. And aside from that, I also create the business process documentations. First, I creating the process maps and also standard operating procedures for the operational team, and also I conduct the training documentations to respective team.
Okay. Thank you. Very thorough answers. Um, and for one of your documents, please tell me how you determine your audience, your purpose, and what's the requirement for your documents according to organization policies and procedures.
Yeah. So for the quarterly financial report, the audience includes senior management and also the board of directors. The purpose for that documentation is to provide a comprehensive overview of the company's financial performance, identify trends, and also support strategic decision making. The requirements are determined by organizations' policies and procedures, which specify the need for the accuracy, compliance with accounting standards, and timely delivery.
Okay, thank you, Corey. And for one of your documents, please tell me how you determine the required format, style, and structure for your documents.
So, for instance, for the annual budget forecast, I determine the required format, style, and structure by referring to the organization's standard templates and guidelines.
Yeah.
And also, it provides the consistency with the previous forecast and ease of understanding for the audience are the key considerations. And aside from that, for instance, business process documentations, there is like such templates and guidelines from the global. So I refer to those templates.
Okay, thank you so much. That's very detailed answer. And for one of your documents, can you please tell me how you establish the correct method of communication?
Yeah, for the communications, I establish the correct method of communications by assessing the nature and urgency of the issue. For instance, for the critical incidents requiring immediate attention, I use the organization's instant messaging platform and follow up with a detailed email to ensure all the necessary information was documented.
Thank you. Next, for one of your documents, please tell me how you establish key points to be included in your document.
In the monthly financial summary, I establish key points by focusing on critical financial metrics such as revenue, expenses, profit margins, and cash flows. And I also included variance analysis to highlight deviations from the budget and explains as to why the reason behind them.
Okay. Um, and for one of your documents, please also tell me how to develop the draft document to communicate your key point.
To develop the draft of the financial report, I first gather all the relevant informations such as financial data and perform the analysis accordingly. And then I created an outline based on the key points identified. And then I ensure each section logically flowed into the next.
Okay, thank you, Corey. May I know how did you ensure your draft met the proposed and requirements for the document?
Basically, I ensure the draft met its purpose and requirements by conducting a thorough review against the organization's standard and guidelines, and
Yeah.
for the standard operating procedures, I ensure that it is matched with the job descriptions and the KPI for each departments, for instance.
Okay, thank you. Did you have to obtain and include any additional required information in your draft document? If yes, what was it and why?
Yes, of course. For the annual budget forecast, I needed to include additional information, for instance, projected market conditions, anticipated changes in operating costs, and potential new revenue streams. So, those information was obtained from the market research reports gathered by the business intelligence department, and also from the historical data, and also input from other departments, for instance, like procurement or sales and marketing, and also those information including the crucial data to provide a realistic and comprehensive forecast for the next.
Okay, thank you, Corey. Um, in your workplace, are there any documents that you must have a supervisor or like your colleague, for example, to proofread before you can send them?
Yeah, for sure. So the documents such as financial statements, audit reports, regulatory filings must be provided prior to approval, and also this must be approved by a supervisor or a senior colleague, and some documentation needed to be approved by the like regional or global head.
Okay. Um, Also, like what changes did you have to make to one of your documents? Please tell me how you ensure those changes were correctly made. For example, that document was checked again before it was finalized, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. For instance, in one my experience, I had to revise a quarterly financial report due to a significant error in the revenue projections. So after making the necessary corrections, I recheck the calculations and the data resources.
Mhm.
So the revised document was then reviewed by a colleague to ensure all the changes were accurately reflected and the vinyl version met the required standards. So there's no like back and forth revision needed.
Yes. Okay. Um, Thank you. And how do you check your documents though, like for spelling, grammar, and punctuation issues?
So there is a combination of software tools such as spell checkers and also grammar checkers in a word processing application. So I use those applications.
Mhm.
And further, I manually review the documentation to catch any errors that automated tools might miss.
Okay, very clever. Thank you. What is your process to ensure that your documents is readable and that the sentences, paragraph, sequencing, and like structure of your document are correct?
Yeah, I ensure the readability by using clear, concise language and avoid jargon. And I also organize the document logically with headings, subheadings, and bullet points where appropriate. And that's also, and further to this, I also read the documents aloud to check for flow and coherence. Peer reviews also are required to help me ensure the structure and sequencing are correct.
Okay, thank you, Corey. Are you still okay, or do you want me to continue? Do you have any question?
No, I'm good. You can continue, Farah.
Yeah, no worries. What are the two examples of your organization policy and procedures that you can tell me for written documents?
Yeah, for instance, for the document formatting guidelines, specifies the use of standard fonts, margins, and headings to ensure consistency across all written documentations. And for the approval process, outlines the step for obtaining necessary approval for different types of documentations, and also ensuring they are reviewed and authorized by the appropriate personnel before the distribution.
Um, when would you use general emails in a work setting to communicate something and why?
So basically, general emails are used for routine communications such as meeting reminders, policy updates, or sharing non-sensitive informations.
Okay. When would you use procedures to communicate something and why? Sorry. Um, did I ask this one? Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah, yeah.
please tell me when would you use the procedures to communicate something and why?
Yeah, so procedures are used to communicate detailed step-by-step instructions for completing a specific task. They ensure consistency and also compliance with the organizational standard, making them essential for processes that require precision and accuracy. So I think this is more required for the day-to-day operational job. So it is more detailed documentations that will be using by them.
Yeah. Thank you. And when would you use business letters and why?
So for the business letters, I use it for the formal communications such as contract negotiation, official announcement, or correspondence with external stakeholders. They convey professionalism and are often required for legal or official documentations.
Yeah. And when would you use a meeting agenda and why?
I use meeting agenda to outline the topics to be discussed during a meeting. It helps me to keep the meeting focused, ensures all the relevant points are covered, and allows the participants to prepare in advance, leading to more productive discussions.
Okay. Thank you so much. And if not covered, just in case, in above questions, prompt
Mm.
what are three examples of different formats, styles, and structures for documents?
Okay, so there are three. The first one is financial report. It is structured with sections for executive summary, detailed financial statements, analysis, and appendices.
Yep.
And the second one is standard operating procedures. It is structured with a purpose statement, scope, definition, procedure step, and also responsibilities. And the last is business proposal. It is structured with an introduction, background information, proposed solution, benefits, implementation plan, and also conclusion.
Okay. Thank you so much, Corey. Like you just really answer all these questions satisfactorily to me. You provided sufficient description and explanation to which kind of like demonstrate your understanding. So it's really good. I can see that you really understand this process of writing simple documents in your day-to-day job as a finance manager. All the examples like the business letter, the meeting agenda that you mentioned, they're all very, very details. Thank you. I can guarantee that this section is competent. So if you know that on the next section is about the product evidence, I believe that you have to provide three on each. Um, are you competent? Are you like sure that you can get this by the due date?
Yeah, sure, I'm sure.
Yeah. And as I said to you, the last bit is just for me to combine the first instrument and the second one and decide whether you are competent or not. Thank you so much for your time and this effort. That is really, really amazing. If I may ask, now this is my bit. If you can please tell me what went well or what can I improve?
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, so first of all, thank you, Farah, for your calm and radiates like such a positive energy. So makes me no nervous at all during this assessment.
Yeah.
And I think like the room for improvement, I would suggest to conduct like focus group discussions if
Yeah.
that's possible.
Like prior to the assessment.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Just to share idea amongst the
Mm-hmm.
students. Okay.
Yeah,
No worries. I will really consider your feedback. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see your submission regarding your product and, you know, mark you as competent as soon as possible. Thank you,
thank you
Corey.
so much, Farah.
You have a good day.
Take care. Have a good day.